Well, the fact that Nightcrawler said, "Oh, the dead man's hand." And
Oh my God!
I was like, bro, I was like, Kurt. I was like, Kurt, your sister is sitting right there.
And what's up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of the For All Nerds show. It's your boy DJ Benjamin, aka Insaba Your Scott Stunners, Professor Next up here, back in the spaceship, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host
Tatiana King, also known as Tatiana Kang, the Conqueror, Dark Chocolate Phoenix, Madeline Pryor's, and the King of the North.
There we go. And of course, the Omega Level P here today.
Hey everyone, it's Portia, aka the winds powering Beyonce and Magneto's blowouts, aka Mutant Beyond Time, aka Diamond in the Tough, aka Diamond of the Eternal Shore season.
Very nice. Love the flourish.
Once again, these De La Soul is dead names. But yes, we have a very special guest here today for the first time on the spaceship. The one and only Blerd Without Fear is here. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? I am the Blerd Without Fear, aka the woke Charles Xavier, and the Blerd with a mouth. And some people even call me the Baba Yaga of YouTube. But yeah, that's me. I'm here.
Oh, they
Baba Yaga of
Wait
YouTube.
a minute. You got
Put
motion
some
like
horns
that
on that one. That's, you can't just say that like that's nothing.
Yeah, like what, you letting people down on the interwebs? What's going on?
I mean, I've definitely seen
That's what people tell me. So
Yeah.
I just look if enough people say it, I'll just roll with it. So
I mean,
I mess with it.
I have bore witness to some of the slaughter, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Look, I just be out here doing things, and I generally mind my business, but every now and again, I don't.
But today we gonna mind our business and discuss X-Men 97 as much as possible, because when we got woke Charles Xavier up in here, we'll see how it goes. But yes, we can talk about X-Men 97 season 2, episode 7, From a Dead Man's Hand.
Episode 8.
8. Oh, it's
8.
So it's
We're
9.
almost there. We're almost done.
I know, it's just always it throws me off because I forget it's a 9-episode season instead of being like a round number. So okay,
I know.
8.
Yeah, yeah. Which is also a thing in and of itself, right? All like these shows that have seasons with these literally odd number of episodes, and we know that that's just kind of developed through over the years, right? When you talk about the Netflix model and other models about how they do these shows, and it's kind of like, it gives you a thought like, damn, is this enough or is this too much, right? Because we've seen shows be amazing with 6 episodes, and we've seen shows be ass with like 24 episodes. So it's kind of like, is this enough?
I mean, I always want more of this show because I really, truly enjoy it, but at the same time, I feel like the animation, everything like that is so excellent every episode that
Absolutely.
I'd be, if they did more and it wasn't, I'd be hurt.
Be like, yeah. And you saying that makes me want to just mention first on this episode specifically the animation. My God, like beautiful. Like when it comes to, again, how they illustrate the power sets and how they illustrate the magic, literally the magic mixed in with the mutant powers, like that, it's just phenomenal work on the color, phenomenal work on the grading, just phenomenal work on the movement and the power that it has. Like you feel it. That's one of the reasons why X-Men 97 is so damn good. You feel the force. I'm sorry to put a little Star Wars reference in there, but you feel the force in all the movement and the color and the fervor of the characters and everything that they do. Gambit, obviously, like that shit was bananas to me.
Yo, what's up, fam? It is I, Tatiana King, and I want y'all to know that I need you to do me a favor. Please share this show. You're listening to us, you're watching us, but you're gatekeeping, and I don't understand why you're doing that. I really need you to share with your friends, share with your mama, share with your cousin, share with everybody.
Ernie, how did you feel about it?
Oh, I loved it. That is it's one of my favorite arcs actually that they were adapting. Was the Gambit's time as death. And it's one of those things you never really hear a whole heap of a lot of people talk about it, and understandably because it didn't, in the grand scheme of things, it didn't last that long. In the original comics, but like the fact that they actually put respect on Gambit's name by letting him have his full death power set, like, because everything he did in there was all stuff that was, because like the whole time I was watching, I was like, okay, I was like, is he able to corrupt people? He can corrupt people. If he can he control, how can he throw his cards and control the trajectory of them after he throws them? It's like he can do it. It's like every single thing that, like, it was like, okay, yep, that was death, that was it. I think we might even have seen him disintegrate somebody too, but that's another story altogether. It was great. And then like the some of the angles that come up with with Rogue and Gambit because of the whole nature of Death's new state of being, and all the apocalypse shenanigans, the it was just, and also X-Force being like on like just absolute just wild timing.
They on that bullshit. Let's be real.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Bullshit. Cable, like I know, you know what? Look, Cable, I get it, man. He grew up wild, but Cable be out here just
Cable's questionable, man.
He's out here perpetrating.
He's being questionable too in his approach, and then his like, damn it, got foiled again. It was very Scooby-Doo. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was very like, aren't you? Like, that's just why you didn't figure this out. I don't know. But
it's like you're from the future.
Yeah,
you knew this was gonna happen.
I can't lie. That. I can't lie. I was a little goofy at that juncture. That's why I was just like, okay, y'all on that bullshit. But otherwise, like, yeah, I did find this to be an incredible episode generally. Portia, what about you? What did you feel?
Yeah, I think I enjoyed the like arc of it all, like how all the different pieces of the season are coming together. And this is like the penultimate episode. So you would hope that they like were tying some things off and putting you into a good headspace for the next, like the finale of the season. And I think that all the threads are coming together in a way that are really interesting. At some point, it made me like, when we got Nightcrawler doing his thing, like whenever he was throwing hands, and we were in a POV of him throwing hands, I was like, oh, this is glorious. This is great. But I feel like that also was a reason behind not only that we got that POV of him, but the reason why the last episode we had was of him thinking about, we got an insight into like how he makes his decisions, and then for him to come through and be something else for a minute, that was interesting. And I think that like duality of like throughout the episode, they were talking about people not being who they are, and Remy not being who he is, Apocalypse not being who he is, Nightcrawler not being who he is. I thought that was like, I liked how all those things keep coming together.
I do get what you're saying, because I did feel that about Nightcrawler. I said, oh, so this is what happens when, no holds bar, right? Like when you're not thinking about people's feelings, when you're not thinking about, oh, that's my sister and all this other stuff, like what happens when the, you remove the collar, right? When you remove the leash or let the leash go. So I found that funny. And I'm really glad you mentioned that, seeing the POV, the point of view, the literal, the way they put the camera in with the fight and giving them 3 pieces. And then like that shit was, again, when we talk about the power and the agility of these people, and to be able to see that done in animation is wild to me. And it gave me like thoughts about like, what was that, X-Men 2 or whatever, that scene in the beginning in the White House, with like the hardest scene to date when it comes to Nightcrawlers and showing his power set. And they did it again in this episode, just in terms of how quick he can fucking roast you. Understand?
He can just go through people like it's just like a little rot. Like
boom, boom. He was literally giving 3 pieces, 4 pieces to everybody side of biscuit. Like he was going crazy on every single person, and he went through the whole lineup. And I'm just like, y'all don't understand how like these people got hands, these people got powers, these people are insane, and like people don't get it.
Well, it's like another little thing to add on to that. Not only are they getting their ass beat, they're getting farted on, because that smoke, notoriously smells like brimstone. So so not only, and that I think that's an aspect of his power set that I think is always kind of lost in translation, because every time I see him do that, he's like grabbing people, snatching people, teleporting away. It's like, dude, it's got to be embarrassing because you're getting the brakes beat off of you. Like you're literally getting the X gene stamped out of you, and you got to smell that funk.
Which is wild. Also, the reference with death, right? You just said brimstone, right? So now you talking about hell and the devil and fire and all that stuff. So your life is terrible to begin with, and it smells like ass in the room. Like I know it smells crazy in there. I know it do.
And then the last part that they showed, I think that was last season, is how it feels for other people to get teleported. Because when he takes you through it, you saw that last season where it's like everybody gets all stretched out and shit. And they're all fucked up. So imagine him doing this repeatedly while he is whooping your ass at the same time. It's some wild, like, he straight up served all the X-Men and X-Force, right? It was everybody there. And he served them all by himself. I'm
feeling like Ormond in Game of Thrones, really. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, something that I think really has to be, kind of point out, like you said earlier, seeing some of these things in motion, really kind of like case in point, you talk about characters getting like, you kind of getting that moment. Yeah. Like we saw Jubilee get it earlier this season. It was like a lot of people who, like I talked to a lot of people who, they didn't care about Jubilee like at all. But like when they saw Jubilee like shoot, like going off like she did earlier in the season, like, oh, I didn't know she had it like that. I was like, dude, she been had it like that. I was like, dude, she got it out she's you can't sleep on these young X-Men that came up like back in like the 70s, 80s, and 90s because they all had to get it out the mud and they all had to come up. They all like got uplifted at some point. Like they might have started out kind of slow, but like they came up later. You're like, oh, okay, these characters are actually way more badass than I thought they were. Nightcrawler's gotten his. A lot of characters have gotten theirs. Hell, even like I remember the first season, Cyclops got his because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't know Cyclops could do that. I didn't know he could slide around like that and do the stuff he does." So it's like, seeing it in motion. That's the thing. That's one of the best parts to me a lot of the time about this show because it puts respect on characters you might not even know could do the stuff they're doing.
And then beyond while, like we said, all of the action, everything is absolutely incredible. It's just insane to see this stuff because for someone who grew up on the comics, everything, and the limits of how these people have this limit where they can just do all this wild stuff. You've never seen it. Like, you said the greatest was X2, and now it's animation in the story. Like X2 is cool, but there's nothing on that first season when Nightcrawler was fucking people up. When he's like, you have another sword or 3 swords, and he had the 3 swords with his tail on everything.
Yeah.
And then this season when this happened. So this is the greatest Nightcrawler scene. And then the other thing about the animation is the emotions.
Yes.
Like it is Rogue and Gambit. Rogue is probably one of my top 5 X-Men. I know we're going to have to do this list at some point.
Top 3.
Yeah. Top 3.
Top 3 for me.
Yeah. Top. It's Rogue was the first, like, that was my first crush, everything. Rogue was the one boy, like, man, I think she was under my first X-Men issue I ever read was the one with Rogue and Wolverine. I think that's one of the very first issues I've ever read.
So you already have a strong connection to her, and then to see her going through her emotions.
And it took me a long time to grow on Rogue and Gambit. When they got together, I thought it was corny at first, but
too easy.
It was just
like my 2 Southern people.
New Orleans, here comes this New Orleans dude. He's all cool
Put the
and
black
shit.
People together.
He's flipping cards. He got the purple eye. Like it was just. It was like, oh God, this guy's so corny. I could not stand Gambit in general at first.
Don't hate on Gambit. Dude. You can't hate
on
him. I know you don't really do.
Yeah, but when you read him in the comics at first, it was just like he was so over the top because that's what Chris Claremont wanted him to be, was like over the top. And so he grew on me though. Don't get me wrong. And just through the animated series, he was become such a character. And if you watch 92 and then how he dies in 97, it is. Like for people who really watch 92, it's 97 will really hurt you. And so all of this, and then this reunion between them, when you see all their emotions, Rogue's dream in the beginning, just this whole episode, it's all the little moments. And I gotta say, we gotta get back to the beginning because we had Rogue's dream, which was wild. But I have to bring this up because I was watching the show and I'm sitting there like, yo, hold up. The X-Men are some of the most disrespectful people ever I've seen in life. The whole group of them
100%.
are going to sit there playing cards with Rogue. Like, it has not been that long, folks. Can you imagine? Just every time, you want a deal, Rogue? You know what I mean? What's in your hand, Rogue? You know what I mean?
Nightcrawler.
You know,
you're allergic to chocolate.
Got a Joker, Rogue. You know,
well, the fact that Nightcrawler said, "Oh, the dead man's hand."
Oh my God!
I was like, bro. I was like, Kurt. I was like, Kurt, your sister is sitting right there.
Available now at ForAllNerds.com. The Gucci Mandalorian, the Variants, the Dunkin' Egg, the Lionel Richie. New designs coming soon.
Too soon.
Hey, look, there's long been the saying ever since Kitty Pryde joined the X-Men back in the day. Welcome to the X-Men. Hope you survive the experience. That is not limited. That is not limited to Sentinels and like Apocalypse and Magneto and like the Friends of Humanity. That applies to your teammates.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Damn, Ben, that's crazy.
It was actually Hank. It was Hank McCoy who did the Dead Man's Hand because it was Kurt who had like the 8s or whatever, and he was like,
Kurt had the aces. Yeah,
that was the Dead Man's Hand. Yeah.
The he should have just not. Like you saying, Hank should have just thrown his. He should have folded, right? Hank should have been like.
No, but that's when you say that now,
he has the emotional intelligence that, like, I feel like, Nightcrawler, he would have been a little nice about it. He'd been like, well,
I mean, they all lacking emotional intelligence. Look who their teacher is, Professor fucking X. Which, by the way, I wanted to mention before I definitely got to get this out. Professor X be a bitch sometimes, man. Okay. Every time he's worse than Gene a lot of times, where he's either getting knocked out his chair, he's getting pimp slapped by somebody every single time, and it happened again during his battle with Apocalypse / Gambit. And I always just ask, like, is this nigga this powerful or nah? Like, it's so funny to me where I talk to Ben about how the original X-Men series, how as a kid watching that. Now watching that as an adult, I'm like, oh, they actually nerfed a lot of people. Like, I never knew Jubilee was that strong. I never knew, as you mentioned earlier, that Cyclops like had moves like that, had motion like that. Now, fast forward, I feel like they nerfing the hell out of Charles. Like, I'm just like, damn, he's such a they don't show.
Yeah.
Like, it's always he's taking the L's a lot of times here.
Yeah. Well, that's why they had to. So, like, the meme that used to always come out of the original show was like, Gene was always feigning, and Charles was always hollering. Like, he was like,
right. He was always screaming. He was having migraines.
So the thing is, they and to an extent they kind of did it in the original series, not so much this one. Storm also got had to be nerfed a little bit because they always used to. They kept playing into her claustrophobia, or like something would happen, she would get knocked out of the sky or something like. But the reason why is because, like, those characters are way more powerful than like it becomes that situation where, okay, we like the previous episode's a prime example. We have to write Storm off this episode because if she's here,
it's over.
This gets
with.
wrapped
if
up
she's
like
here,
that.
there is no episode. Right. Which I try to tell people.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, it's just, I get it. It's just like, if this person shows up and just, snaps their fingers, it's over with. Heard. Yeah. However, now you're giving the false impression that this person is ineffective. And that's what bothers me. It's like, there's got to be some sort of balance. And I'm not, and just bringing it all back to Charles, I'm not a Charles fan. I'm not even a Professor X fan like that. It's just funny to me how the tables have turned, or the turns have tabled, if you will. Right. Like, it was interesting, but he's not giving off effective.
Honestly, and I 100% agree. I'm not a Charles fan either. I hate the guy. I take every opportunity. I take every opportunity to point out that Charles is a terrible father. He's a terrible leader. He perved on Jean when she was little, and And the only reason he thought it was inappropriate to pursue a relationship with her was because he was in a wheelchair, not because he was a grown ass man. And he enslaved the Danger Room, and he lied to Cyclops about having a third brother. The man's terrible, and also his son Legion is just so disrespected.
Yes,
but so yeah, Charles gets no cookies from me on anything. He gets nothing from me. But it is weird to have like the guy who regularly is referred to and even sometimes refers to himself as the most powerful telepath on the planet.
Right.
But you ain't doing nothing. You're letting, which to be fair, Gambit in that form has a lot of psychic resistance compared to normal. But the fact that you let Gambit just like, I'm talking about like, Gambit is hanging off the rim with his nuts on Charles's bald forehead. Like he just and Charles is like,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what's going on. He's like foul. He's like throwing. But no, it's like it's like we don't have no ref blowing a whistle. We ain't got no ref holding up no cards. We ain't got nobody like asking for like it's like honestly, it couldn't have happened to a better guy. So
I agree. And the one other thing I just want to mention, which I was again when we talk about they're doing this because you're not going to have a story without doing it. When we talk about nerfing or quote adjusting. You telling me those 3 telekinetics was needed to hold that plane up so it wouldn't completely crash? You talking to me? I thought that was questionable. You said Jean, Cable, and the other one. All
Psylocke, yep.
Psylocke, thank you. All 3 of them were needed to hold the plane up. Like all of them were required, and they were straining. And I'm just like, y'all was straining one moment, but just fighting Apocalypse a moment ago. Like it's not balanced sometimes.
But Jean should not have needed any help. Jean by herself could have held that plane.
And that's my point.
Yeah.
Which version and which clone of Jean is this? Because depending, they decide whether or not she's more powerful enough to do stuff of that. And that's why when her alone can do it, I'm like, well, what the hell do you mean? Like, why do I see the butterfly in front of that part? About like just inconsistent levels of power, and that has, and again, this has been even through the MCU itself, through animation, just inconsistencies for plot, and then the fact that out of the 8 episodes, 4 or 5 of those episodes, a plane has been going down, and they've shown like literally, and they've shown people be able to like get them, and I understand this is a bigger plane, but it ain't that serious. I don't know. It's just I gotta call that one. Like, come on.
No, you're right too. And honestly, I think it should always be pointed out because I think in regards to them like trying to let's keep the plot nice and tidy. We need to do this and do that to make sure stuff doesn't pop off. It's sometimes depending on how it's done, I can perceive it as lazy. But I feel like what they were really trying to do is like just we got to create some drama, and
this is the 5th.
We don't want to make Jean. Yeah, we don't want Jean to pass out. Because that's old and tired. But like, I would even go. It's just. I wish I thought of a better way.
So the show could happen.
But I'm just saying, it's not drama anymore. Y'all,
no.
The Titanic went down 6 times. I know it's about to happen again. It's not dramatical anymore, right? Like, okay.
Yeah. Even if it crashed, Jean could have put like a force field around it. But that kind of speaks to the point because I remember when Danger.exe came out, and I was like, so y'all just gonna have Sync sit here and do nothing. That's like Sync got all y'all powers right now. And he ain't doing nothing? That's crazy. But that's why they didn't, because if Sync actually did do something, it'd have been like, oh, well, yeah, man, everybody else go home.
Right.
Yeah, but he's also a kid, so you can, you can excuse that at that point. I get that he's not ready for it. But what happened to Bishop and Polaris this episode?
They were not there.
They just weren't there.
Yeah, they were.
They were. They're on a side quest.
Okay.
Right.
They were in the Savage Land.
In the Savage Land, right. They were in the intro slate, but they weren't here because they were in the Savage Lands, remember?
they
fucking around over there, and then...
They're still there.
They're doing that.
Allegedly. This is just the answer we're giving because they weren't in the episode.
All right, cool. They went out on a date, whatever. Like,
I guess.
Yeah.
Side mission.
They've been making puppy dog eyes.
I love you guys. I gotta go.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Tatiana.
It was a pleasure.
On real quick on Professor X, I was taking him being inside of Remy's mind and locked with like Apocalypse, like he keeps locking in with Apocalypse because Apocalypse is the only like threat to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at it as like he can't really go that hard. Like this is him at his best against Apocalypse. Like that's his power. Like he still hasn't gotten over. He was kept going over and over with Danger, Apocalypse, and he still hasn't beat it yet. Like even whenever he went against Danger, and she was being an Apocalypse level threat to him, it was Polaris who came through and like shut it down. So he still hasn't pushed past that issue with Apocalypse, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean he Charles is in the Hurt Locker. He's Charles is down bad. And I think the danger episode really highlighted how just right now he is. I mean, the guy was like reliving Magneto's death over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I feel like, and I don't know, maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't, maybe they'll pull the trigger, maybe they won't. But like, I know originally they were at least seemingly teasing some kind of a major arc for Charles. And they keep kind of hinting at it and hinting at it and hinting at it since the first season. So I don't know. Maybe next episode.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
Maybe he pops off.
We were talking about this last week, where it's like we don't really know where it's going, and I'll give them that. Like I didn't expect this episode to not have like physical apocalypse in it. At least I thought we talked about there's been all the ideas about there being 2 apocalypses out there, 3 apocalypse. I'm not sure how you say it, but there was more than one. But now it's like, okay, there just seems to be one. He's dead or not dead, as he says. He always survives. I did have a question. What was, because there was a lot of like, I love this too about this episode. Is like Gambit and Apocalypse just kept shutting people down when they were making speeches. Like Shorty, the External, gives the fire speech.
Oh,
I can't lie.
Yeah,
comes in with a fire speech. And Gambit's like, yeah, whatever to that. Ooh, sword to the chest, stick out the back. You done, never to return. Disintegrated, right? Yeah, that was the disintegration.
Yeah, that was the disintegration. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that's the end of her. I don't need to see her again. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
well, I mean, she's even a different. I mean, Kandra's a funny character. Like, I don't know what they were. Look, I'll always take the representation. Yeah, but I was like, I remember the first time I ever saw her, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah,
I mean, like even hearing her name, I was like, who the fuck is Kandra? Same. And then when I went and looked it up, I was like, oh, that's a white woman. I was like, that's a white woman in the comics. I was like, oh damn. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. That's reparations as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
but
Jesus walked.
But right. But I was like, who's checking for Kandra in this day and age? I have
a question.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm trying to remember. So in this episode, I don't know if she's dead because there's whenever you see her death stuff, it's some sprinkles in the water, like where she came from. Like there's like a little animation sweet there that's going on. But is she not the same woman that Kang, like when we saw Kang, is that not
same
so
woman?
I
same
feel like if she's involved with Kang and we haven't yet seen where they're going with Kang in this series, like there might be a return of her in relation to Kang directly.
I could see
it.
Yeah, my thing with her and the whole Externals from the comics was that's when I was like tuned out, honestly. Like when they were introduced and Cannonball was the first External in the comics of the New Mutants where he was supposed to live forever and all this stuff. It was like Cannonball, the kid from Kansas. Like, that's when I just tuned out because Rob LaField was writing. It was a bunch of gobbledygook. And so, whenever
the Externals made no sense.
Yeah, when people bring them up ever, it's like, you're still trying to make Externals work. Like, no, fam. Like, so see, that's why seeing her get served like that really did it for me. I mean, representation aside, yo, I'm sorry, that was hilarious because she came in talking bid talk and then whap, and then the other bid talk. No, go ahead.
No, because I also had that thought. I think it was someone else who got called. I think Gambit also cut off Xavier.
That's what I was about to
when
go
he's about to give a speech.
And that's what my question was.
Okay, this is my thought. This is like
Okay.
a motif because like from the 90s, do you remember like all the villains kept giving speeches and then they would always get cut off?
Yes.
So I'm like, what is happening like now with the writers of the show? Are they just like flipping that motif where it's like nobody needs to talk? Like, do your plan, either you are, what is this thing, Ozymandias, and you already did your plan 30 minutes ago, and now you're just talking your shit after the plan is executed already, or you're not. Like, either wrap it up, do your big one. Like, don't sit over here trying to make a plan. I don't care if you're a villain or a hero. No, we don't have time for that.
I feel like they're Run DMC fans. The whole you talk too much. That's how I feel. That's how I feel like Gambit was doing everybody. Simply like you talk too much.
Yes,
like I'm here for it. I love it because I 1,000% agree. The reason why I think Ozymandias is probably one of the greatest villains of all time in the history of ever is because he gave the monologue, but he already did the business.
Yeah,
the business was done. You didn't need. There was nothing you could do to stop it. But when villains monologue and you ain't hit the button yet, or you haven't like thrown Gwen Stacy off the ledge, or you haven't tied the children down to the train track or whatever villains do these days, I'm kind of like, then what was all this for?
It's
like,
it's basically, you're Drake out here and you talking about pushing a red button and
right.
We're still waiting on that red button. Anyway, my question was, what was Charles about to say? What was the power that he was about to draw on? Because he says, just like Jean used the Phoenix and the M-Cran crystal, I'm going to use... And I'm sitting there like, what, Charles? I don't know what else you got, dog. Like, you're Charles. You're the Omega level mutant.
All that's left is Onslaught.
Yeah, I know, but he ain't going to say, I'm going to use the power of Onslaught.
Yeah, because he doesn't know he has it. He doesn't even know he has it. I feel, well, so, and the thing
my dead lover? Was that what he was about to say? My dead lover.
The power of friendship?
Right? I mean, honestly, like, Charles, and once again, this kind of speaks back to, this speaks back to what Tatiana was saying earlier about, Charles being nerfed.
Yes.
Because once again, despite not ever being considered, I mean, they've hinted at, well, no, technically it's been retconned. He is an Omega level mutant.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
But like originally when the term Omega level mutant was first kind of making the rounds, he was not. But and Jean was considered Omega level. It's like, well, if you are the most powerful telepath and she is the Omega level mutant, I feel like she is an Omega level telepath. Both her and Quinn Quire are considered Omega level telepaths. So it's kind of like, well, then what does that make you? Because you can't say you're the most powerful. That's like saying you're the best pizza in town. Anybody can say that shit.
Well, he's a liar. I mean, we know that already.
Yeah,
so.
he's a lying liar who lies is what he is. But no, I do wonder what it is he's drawing upon, because I feel like there is nothing other than like you said, it's the
power of friendship.
I'm gonna summon the power of the man I love, but will not say out loud.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, there's no way you can tell me those two dudes weren't. I mean, I'm all for platonic relationships. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying two men can't be really intensely, friends without there, being any romance involved. But I'm sorry, the way Charles was crying for Magneto, I was like, I have only seen dudes do that for dudes they in love with. So I was like, hey, look, and I'm here for it. I want him to let that love flourish. I want him to get that love out there.
I would definitely cry for some of my friends passing, and I've done it. The one that sealed it for me was Charles having a picture of Magneto on his desk. That's when
what I'm saying.
That's when I just said a picture of them hugged up together on his desk was wild work to me. Like, I've got brothers I've known since straight up my brother Andrew. Shout out to him. He's listening right now. Since second grade, I've known this man. I do not have a picture of us hugged up together on my desk, bro. Like it ain't happening.
Okay,
And
but
I doubt you do.
it's also 26. You have a
Yeah.
phone, you have pictures you have a gallery.
Yes.
This is 97. People have things on their desks, they have them on their walls behind them or whatever. I'm like, it can be what it is. I'm all kinds of web. I do not care.
All right, yeah, right.
But
in
my thing
'97,
is,
I had
like,
pictures on the wall. You're right.
it's
I ain't
like
gonna lie.
because like you go in people's offices at that time, they have pictures of them shaking hands with the mayor. They don't even care about the mayor. They don't even know the mayor's name. They just shook the hands with the mayor one time, and that was a
He's
picture.
like, yo, I got a picture with Magneto, nigga. Like, of course I'm putting
that's
this on
that
my
one.
Y'all know Magneto is.
I gotta sign one in the back because I don't want to be dusty. I don't want to happen to it. It's over there.
Well, Wonder Rock won the stock.
That's Charles
man.
just
Look,
stunning
I ain't
on
mad
people.
at it.
Yeah, that's all that is. Charles is like, do you got a picture with Magneto? I don't think so. Fam.
What? Let me ask you this, because this is something that's kind of been on my mind ever since this show kicked off this season. X Factor. I ain't gonna hold you. I've never been the biggest like X Factor guy. I always thought the suits looked cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was never really like the biggest reader of them until like later in life.
Yep.
But like, I ain't gonna hold you. Man, I don't really think there's any way X Factor gonna walk out of this looking clean. And I know like X-Men 97 has had this really probably the biggest criticism I've ever had of the show, even going back to the previous season, and I've seen a lot of people say the same shit, that they run through storylines too quickly, which I can kind of understand that. There are some storylines I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you're going to really squeeze much more out of this. But there have been some, like in the case of Madeline Pryor, where they were like, we just kind of rush right through Inferno. And Inferno was a storyline that went for years.
Yeah. Literally.
We wrapped that shit up in 20 minutes. We ran the entirety of, I think, Inferno. I forget exactly how many years, but I don't mean like one or two.
No,
that shit went for a while.
Yeah, because the whole lead up, I've been rereading Claremont's X-Men, and I got through Inferno recently, and the lead up, takes place all in Australia when X-Men out there. It's just Madeline gets a lot of development. And a lot of really good development. And she got none of that here.
Any opportunity for that to come up in future seasons?
Ain't she dead?
She's dead. But I mean, that's never. But here's the thing: that's never stopped Madeline before. Yeah, that's never stopped Madeline. Like she's died and come back before. But no, I feel like they kind of did a thing where they kind of gave Madeline the happy ending that she never got to have in the comics.
Yep.
Where like she was, and they tried to give it to her in the comics, and they did recently, but it took a long time for anybody to get there. But that's kind of my question with this is like with X Factor, because X Factor, they're basically, I mean, let's be real, they're ice. Let's just keep it a buck. They're ice. Man, how do they turn that back around? Because they're kind of, I'm not gonna lie, they're skating up to Executioner song shenanigans with the current arc without really doing Executioner song like directly.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you can't moonwalk that back? Like you can't like be like, yep, we're ice, and then get to the end of this and be like, well, actually, we've turned over a new leaf, and you only got one more episode. So does X Factor in this season just still be an ice? Is that just their job going forward? Is just, man, we're ice, just straight up and down.
Well, okay, and then you have the question, because at the end of this episode, you do have the remaining members of X-Force joining up with Ice. So, what does that say about them? And Havoc has already had the chance, his ex-girlfriend and his brother that he doesn't know exists, at least on this show.
Still doesn't. He still
does
doesn't
not know, but other people do. Jean Grey, for one, does know that these two men are brothers and has not mentioned the Cyclops that, your brother's over there being ice.
And the sad part is they've met not on this season, not in this series. In the previous series, they met and not a word was uttered between them other than like, well, see you around.
Yeah, because they didn't know. But Jean knows and other people know. I mean, Corsair, their father knows, but no one's mentioned this to this man. And that again, like we said earlier, with them playing cards, and like you said when we were off the air, it's your family who will hurt you. Every time, family gonna do you bad every time. And goddamn, boy, because the man's on ice, and I don't know. I think it continues with this arc at least through the next season. Like, I think we see defections on both sides, perhaps some of X-Force. Let's see who we got over there. Psylocke
and Archangel.
I see Psylocke staying down with the ice. I see that. I can see that. She British, she a colonizer. I can see that.
I feel like you're asking how X Factor is going to moonwalk it back, and I'm like, why would they need to? They're the government.
That's what I mean.
They can write the narrative whatever way they want to write it. Like, what is the public going to find out? What are they going to do about it? Like, what's going to be the problem?
But then before that, that's the question. Like, going into this next episode, I do want to ask this, as we move into the season 3, because we were talking about this last week. And Portia, now you might have a better idea. What do you think we're getting in this final episode?
I've been focusing a lot on general like motifs and like them playing out what seems like, I don't know, different things that we're getting in storytelling devices that they're kind of putting in. So when when X-Force first shows up and they have Apocalypse's like corpse in tow in that chamber, the first thing that came to my mind was like, this is about to be a Trojan horse situation. Like they think that nothing's going on, like this body isn't showing any signs, so it's okay to like bring it in, but then it's actually going to lead to like a Trojan horse situation. And then for us to end with like X-Force united with X Factor, and them having had a recent defector from that team, it's like it just seems like they're setting up seeds for there always being some sort of like there's more going on than even the people who think they have plans in place are able to be on top of. And what is that going to be? So for next episode, for me, I think one, Rogue getting a hand on immortality is interesting. And I think that that is something that no one's really going to be prepared for. Rogue wasn't even prepared for immortality. And so I have a lot of questions around one, Apocalypse and his relationship to Rogue, why he decided that Remy was the one to go for. I think it was interesting because like whenever I read the tarot reading, lovers were part of that reading. And that same set of cards might have also applied to Apocalypse and the external. So are we seeing him play out his love story through Rogue and Remy? Is he trying to have his own relationship with Rogue? What about Rogue then? Why does he want that? Was he taking the Eternity like relic in spite of his former love, or was there like what is the reason why Rogue was like his target for all of this? I want to see there has to be a reason. That doesn't just happen. It's not happenstance. So what is that? And I feel like next episode is the best time to show like what Apocalypse has up his sleeve, basically.
So that's interesting. So this show should turn from X-Men 97 to Everybody Loves Rogue, because have Magneto, you have Gambit, and now you're saying Apocalypse as well. Because
possibly, because why else would he go for Remy? And why was first playing as Remy to get Rogue and turn the immortality relic?
And it's brought up by Nightcrawler. Now, who was it brought up by when they say that he's motivated by his lost love? Like that is what it's all about. Yeah.
I don't know if either of y'all had ever checked out the storyline they were adapting when they did Rise of Apocalypse, but yeah, there is something to that, because that was something that Apocalypse had to experience, was lost love. And they kind of like dance around it and hint at it in this show. So I mean, yeah, I always want to see. I would always like to see a little bit more, and I feel like the next episode, Survival of the Fittest. I hope maybe we get a little bit more of an answer to that. I would like to see that. There's a lot of good stories to pull from. But
that's what I'm like hopeful for, because I like not knowing where it's going. I hope that if they do Age of Apocalypse, they do it some completely different way that I'm expecting. But Portia, did you have anything more on this? Because I know you have some themes and ideas.
I have like a I guess like theory. And that
Okay.
is that basically that's every show, every piece of media is asking a big question and is giving us like their different ways of answering the question over different seasons or different films or whatever. Um, to me, it kind of feels like the X-Men universe is kind of circling around the idea of godship, godhood, basically. Like
Mhm.
what makes a god to an extent.
Mm,
And I think this episode pointed out to me clearly because, like, the mutants all are quote unquote godlike in their power sets and some in various ways. They're not like humans, they are of some other force. Um, so when Apocalypse slash Remy made it a point to make sure, because like, is that the horseman that he is? Is he representing death? Is that his
Mhm.
okay? So basically, like he feels like he has immortality. He's achieved that, and he's looking to get the same for Rogue. And then the last person who held the relic that Rogue has was worshipped like as a goddess in New Orleans. I also want to give a side note to representation of like a black woman being worshipped in New Orleans of all places. Like
Mhm.
perfect. And the tarot cards like being tied, like I just loved the whole thing, that everything going on there. Um, but with Rogue and her getting immortality, achieving immortality, is this a discussion about what actually makes a god is the
Mhm.
ability to be immortal. And like if the mutants are going to keep going on this path, because I feel like part of Magneto's initial statements up against humans was kind of like they're not like we are gods to them. They are
mm-hmm.
peons. They cannot
Mhm.
do that. And I feel like we're going to continue to like even if Magneto's not in the room, the theory still circulates. We're still going to get like are these beings gods? Should we look at them as gods? Or what is this actually a battle of like a pantheon? Basically, if you looked at like Athena
Mhm.
and them, but they were put into like mutants in modern day, is that what we're seeing right now? So I guess my question to y'all is like two pronged. Do you think that is like the big question, or if there is a different question, what's the big question that you think X-Men 97 is kind of like answering throughout this works, and maybe that gives us a pathway to understand like the pattern of what might be next for the show, and
Mhm.
how key is immortality to becoming a god? Like, is that the only way that you can really be a god?
Mm. I think both of those questions are answered by the Krakoa era that we were discussing earlier, and that they actually have reference. I brought this up before that iBoy had Krakoa letters on his sweater when he's first introduced. iBoy is the character who has eyes all over himself. So,
Mhm.
but in the Krakoa era, that's one of the first things in it is Magneto made a statement to the world that where he says, you have new gods now." And he's referring
Mhm.
to the mutants, and that is because they had achieved the ability of immortality for all mutants in Krakoa. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
Mhm.
they do this thing called a mutant circuit where different mutants, and we see it even in X-Men 97, like when Jean and Cyclops combine
Cyclops.
their powers to fight danger. That's a circuit. And we see it a lot. It's a lot of things where you see it like
Mhm. Even the fastball special.
yep, and we see Storm and Jean in this episode. Jean wrapped up a bunch of cats, and then Storm came in with the wave. So it's like that. But
Mhm.
in Krakoa, it's these 5 mutants who have various powers that, through comic book magic, can clone people, and they
Bring him back to life.
bring them back to life. And so that starts the Krakoa era that the mutants have discovered immortality for themselves. And so
Mhm.
and that's why they're like, well, fuck it. We moved to this island. We're immortals. We got everything popping. What humanity? And so, yeah, to answer your
Mhm.
question, yes, they are exploring that in different ways. And I think that is one of the things because Apocalypse has always been about that. And that's like when you talk about things I wish we see is Apocalypse in his Krakoa era, because in that era he said all the stuff you saw me do before when I was always fucking y'all up was because I was preparing for something. Like you needed to be
Mhm.
stronger so you could survive what is coming. And we've talked about this, how the X-Men always have bigger threats, how the bigger threat that I think is always being discussed on this show is AI and the fact that it's like mutants, no matter what, immortality they achieve, machine will achieve and already does achieve immortality just by itself. And that eventually you're going to have to deal with that. Humans, mutants, whoever, eventually have to deal with the machine. And so I think that is something, because that's something that X-Men repeatedly talks about. And so I think that's something that they'll deal with on the show as well.
I mean, I agree in a lot of ways. I do think that godhood, and more specifically playing God, as Apocalypse often does, which Apocalypse has always done. I mean, creating a horseman, resurrecting, Gambit, and kind of transmogrifying him into like a new form. Even Exodus, which is never addressed on the show specifically, but even Exodus was subject to Apocalypse's transformations, which is why he's the way he is like now. So yeah, I definitely think there was a theme there. I definitely think that it's been kind of played at, and I feel like when we were talking about Charles earlier, I feel like Charles could potentially play into that as well. Like talk about what it is that he's holding back, and maybe what is the cost of him unleashing whatever it is he claims he's holding back. And once again, we don't know what that is. We don't even know if he knows what that is.
Was he just bullshitting?
Yeah, that's how I felt. He's like,
yeah, right.
He's like, don't make me get the gat dog.
Was he about to call his
Get it then,
lifeline
Ham.
from like a billionaire or whatever? He's like about to call Polaris. I'm gonna call Polaris.
Right.
Don't make me call
Right.
Polaris.
Yo, people out there, let me tell
Right.
you, don't ever. I've seen a man, he once told somebody, I'm gonna go in the trunk, and they're like, word, do it then.
Yeah. Yeah,
And he
like,
didn't have
dude,
nothing. He didn't have
Yeah,
nothing in the
nothing
trunk, folks. Like I'm gonna.
he didn't even have a tire iron back there. He didn't even have a tire iron.
He
It's
played
crazy.
never scared, but he was scared.
He was. But no, I like I said, I think there's a lot there. I question, with Rogue how long or how much immortality plays a role into it, but I do think that immortality does kind of become part and parcel of being a god. Like whether not say you need it to be a god, but like the idea that once you kind of achieve that, what are you if not? What are you if not a god? If you're already technically a god, just in the sense that you have power beyond belief, but now you're effectively immortal. I mean, then that and even and if it's to that extent, I mean, shit, we consider Storm a goddess, and she is not immortal. So far, she is. She has a very Storm has a knack for not dying, which I guess you could say is effective immortality at that point, because everybody's tried to run her fade, and I mean, she come out the other side squeaky clean every time. She will lay you down 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, clean, no outside interference. So I mean, that just right there alone is if we look at her as that, then now, what is she if not a god? So I do and in Apocalypse, he came from poverty, left out in the desert, and now look at him. He's been elevated to through celestial technology to what is he? He exists. He persists throughout time. We already know that he survives all the way into 3000, was it 60, 90, something like that. So so it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know, man. He's out here. So I know. I definitely I fuck with that theory. I fuck with that theory a lot.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up today?
I'm sorry. I want to say that one, I thought that Morph saying that the kids are horrified, so I turned on The Exorcist was hilarious, and I love that it's continuation of like them having like horror themes throughout the season. Like that was just really fun to me. And another like reference that I picked up on was when Remy had Nightcrawler invite Rogue to come have dinner with him, it gave Beauty and the Beast vibes, and like think about Death as like the Beast and Rogue as the Beauty in that moment, and they were in like a fireside study, because in Beauty and the Beast, the tale, like, and this is Disney's version and like the original fairy tale, and I'm a fairy tale nerd, so sorry, but in the original fairy tale, he continues to have people their objects run interference between him and Belle, or Beauty, and uh every night asks, "Will you come have dinner with me? Will you come have dinner with me?" And she's ever denies him over and over again. And then one time she comes through and has dinner with him. It didn't go through all that for him and Rogue. That she just went and saw him. But I thought it was like the lighting, the coloring of the scene, how it's related to, how it looks very similar to the one from the movie, the animated movie. I was like, this gives Beauty and the Beast a lot. Like, it's not just a little.
And you know what? I'm gonna co-sign that because they did it last season too. You saying it made me remember, but there was a Beauty and the Beast homage. I forget exactly where it was in the season, but they had one in the
Is
first
it when
season.
Magneto dances with Rogue?
It not that particular. It was something else that they did. Like it was before that, but I remember it being a thing. And you bringing up the that sensibility in this episode. Yeah, you know what? It's official.
No,
X-Men 97's team. They fucks with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
No, they fucks with they fucks with Beauty and the Beast heavy, because this isn't the first time they've done something quite like that. And I didn't catch it this time with this one, but when you kind of lay it out like that, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, it's right there. Like, why didn't I see it? Like, but I love that. I rock with it.
I definitely, a couple other things I wanted to mention really quickly was I really liked the conversation when Scott and Jean have with Cable, when Scott's like, I'm tired of hearing about, ifs and wins and all that, and you're here right now, so let's have it out. Hopefully we get something like that with Alex, Havoc next episode, because that would help. And one last little quick reference Easter egg that I caught was when Gambit's at the end, when he's laying in the bed, his monitor reads XM266, which is the first official appearance of Gambit in Uncanny X-Men 266. When he's on the cover with a young de-aged Storm, when Storm was reduced to the age of like 12-year-old.
Yeah. Has Storm always had the ability to like speak to nature and make it like that was her power set, is to like to be Storm, but I've recently learned that that's her, when she says her speeches, she's actively getting them to come to her bidding. So has that always been her power set, to like call them, like speak to them into her bidding?
She can always feel it. Like she's always had a connection to nature, more so than just being like, I control weather. It is a part of her,
It's also like her bloodline as well, because she's descended from like what is effectively the second Sorcerer Supreme. So she has like inherent magical abilities. It's just that she's not trained, but it's one of those things where like she's kind of like Initial D, where like she's a prodigy at doing something. She just doesn't know why. Because even the ruby that her trademark ruby, even that is something that is technically magical or in nature. It's just that she doesn't fundamentally understand exactly what it is. Like she's only recently in the comics started to learn more about her magical connections and like and everything she does. Like you watch how she does her soliloquies when she's doing her working her powers. And what she is doing is technically a form of like kind of like an alchemy or a spell, because she doesn't just conjure something out of nothing. It has to come from somewhere. So like if she summons, like when she summons rain or thunder, like even like that was something that came in the comics when she was bringing rain to her village. She learned later she was taking rain from somewhere else to put it where it was. So like I mean in a lot of ways it is kind of like she's effectively doing magic. Yeah.
And it's also, because it's like mutants and magic are also intertwined, all that type of things. And when that was like in the comics, especially when she loses her powers, that was the heartbreaking part of it, where she was like, oh, I can't feel it anymore. I can't hear the wind sing to me. I can't hear the oceans crying. Like, it's all these things that, she hears and feels that we, have no idea about. So yeah, definitely, Storm is that one. We all know and love her for a reason. All right.
I
Anything
got
else
one.
Before we go out? Yep.
I got so Charles when he was fighting against the Gambit / Apocalypse. For anyone that's curious, if you wondered where that funky outfit came from, or why Charles even was wearing it in the first place, that's actually his fit from when he first fought the Shadow King.
Yep.
He's back in the day, and when I saw it, I was like, no, he did not drag out these dusty old clothes so to get cleaned up like this.
To get cleaned up. That was the worst part, because in the comics, when he wore that outfit, he serves the Shadow King. So it was like, this
that
is
my
my
confidence booster.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna give my
Oh.
speech. I'm gonna pull out my outfit. I'm ready for this nigga.
No, you didn't come down to LA Fitness with like the classic Jordan jersey and the new Air Jordans, and got on the court and got wrecked.
Oh, hold on, like you said, like immediately. But that's how it goes. It's always that dude who like come in, wearing Jordans and shit, thinking you Jordan, and then no, kid, no.
You're not like Mike after all.
No, it was not the shoes, fam.
He's not Bow Wow. He's not getting no.
Oh well, all right. Blerd Without Fear, please let the people know where they can find you at. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us, man. This is fantastic.
No, man, no problem. I had a great time. Thank you for having me. Anyone that wants to follow me, you can find me on YouTube. I'm not hard to get a hold of. Just look up Blerd Without Fear. I'm Blerd Without Fear. Pretty much anywhere that I exist. I only really exist in a couple of places because I don't really do a lot of social media outside of like Threads and and YouTube. Don't look for me on Instagram. I don't check Instagram. So there you go.
All right, Portia P.
You know where to find me here on this channel, and also always at Portia Knows on Instagram, and maybe other things you'll actually care about later.
All right, there we go. You can follow me at DJ Ben Amin. Make sure you're following at ForAllNerds. Hit that like, that subscribe on YouTube. We're almost to 10K. We trying to get that bid plaque like Blerd got back there. You know what I mean? That's the next level. So we getting to 10K first. We almost there. So make sure you hit that follow, that like, all that good stuff. Head over to ForAllNerds.com and get some of this fly merch. Like this very much limited edition. Let me stand up so y'all can see this. Magneto is right. That joint is dumb limited. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, because, haters is out there and stuff. So make sure you get it while you can. ForAllNerds.com. The Lionel Richie that Portia got. We got new Spider-Man joints here. Blerd, you don't know. We got to send you a couple of these, and I see you cracking up over there. We got all.
Oh, no, I love Lionel Richie is sending me. I'm here for it.
It's one of the greatest of all time, if I do say so myself. So make sure you head over to ForAllNerds.com. Get you some of that. Thank you. We'll be back next week. Big episode. It's the finale. We'll be talking all that. A lot of other stuff. We got mad stuff coming from ForAllNerds. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining us. We out.